Hey guys, we're group 9. I'm Emma and I'm a comm major.
Hi, I'm Shakti. I'm a P&B major.
Hi, I'm Samana. I'm a psych major.
So we just wanted to briefly talk about what our thoughts were about the book and stuff. So would you like to start?
Sure. I think overall, this book was really eye-opening for me because I'd never read something that was so openly anti-capitalist from the eyes of a feminist before. And it was honestly shocking to see that so many of the issues that we learned about in the class, whether that be gender minority issues or racial issues, they all relate back to capitalism.
Yeah, I agree with that. Samana, what did you think?
I agree with Shakti that it talked a lot about neoliberalism and how trying to be a feminist in this whole capitalistic society is difficult because you're just trying to get positions and you don't really acknowledge other women and their struggles. And we're always talking about getting these positions, but we don't realize that we're pushing down all these other jobs to other women and not including them in the movement.
Yeah, definitely.
Emma, what did you think about
Well, I think it's really interesting because, I don't know about you guys, but I'm a senior. So once I graduate, I'm going to be entering that kind of working world. And I do think I'm really thankful that I read this book and that I'm in this class because I now have such a different perspective on the reality that all women are facing. And now I feel like I can approach the workplace, I don't know, from like a different perspective just because I know what everybody's going through a little bit more. So,
Yeah, I think it was so I don't know, I feel like I walked into this class thinking I had a very, good, strong, knowledge about all there is about feminism, but I
yeah.
feel like now, half or more than halfway through the class, I didn't know anything to start with, and now I know so much more.
But yeah, saying I, I wasn't aware of all these different terms and how it really affects society and affects women in general, being in such a capitalistic society, and how you never really get to the point that we want to because of how everything is structured.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely. And we have so many more pressures than basically anyone else out there. So when you think about it, we are doing a good job. That's one thing this class has showed me. We're doing a good job. So,
Yeah.
So a big theme that I saw in this book, and which relates to the class as well, is intersectionality. Do you guys agree with that?
yeah.
Yeah, I thought that specifically one of the texts we read in class, White Stream Feminism and the Colonialist Project, it was it was talking about how what we long thought was mainstream feminism was actually just white stream feminism, and that a majority of women weren't being considered in any of our discussions. And I think that that relates back to this book because we see how um, various different sections, like each thesis talks about a different part of society, and how what we long thought was even or equal was actually just very one-sided.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so Shakti, you were mentioning how different theses relate to the course and white mainstream feminism. And I think thesis 2 was a very good example, which mentioned liberal feminism and how women are typically pushed into corporate positions, and we don't really acknowledge other women and how, can you pause it? Something that relates to what Emma was, or what Shanti was saying, is a thesis 2 and liberal feminism and how women are typically encouraged to be in corporate positions and encouraged to be in this other women that are being pushed away and given these other jobs and put into positions which aren't really seen as necessary or valued.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one thing I've noticed is I'm a domestic violence advocate for children and adults that come into our shelter, and we are considered essential workers. So even if we go into shutdown for COVID lockdown or whatever, we're still expected to come in. But I mean, majority of the jobs, especially for women, are going to be just completely shut down. Like if you're a nanny, if you're a babysitter, your services are not necessarily, you know, wanted because people don't want you coming into their home because of sickness and stuff. So, you know, I think that's just one way that it feeds into those things because it's just showing how a lot of women are going to be at a disadvantage during all times.
Yeah, and it's like there's a very small population of women who do pursue corporate positions. And I mean, there's obviously nothing against that, but we're still missing such a large percent of the population when when we try to say, oh, men and women are the same now. Look, there are women who are CEOs also. But yeah, if you look at the percentage of women who aren't in corporate positions who are doing other things that aren't being taken as seriously, it shows how much the gap is still present in our society.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but one thing I've at least noticed from just, growing up in America is that there is pressure for us to stay home. And that, even if we want to pursue these corporate jobs and things, we're still expected to back down or just to reprioritize our lives once the family situation comes in. So the men definitely don't have the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah, Emma, what you were saying about how women aren't appreciated for all the things they have to put on hold. I think that relates to thesis 5 because it talks about social reproduction and how in a capitalist economy we don't value women for having to take care of childcare and all of that. But without it, we really wouldn't even have a society because
Yeah. We could
I
not
mean,
function
it
without
sounds dumb, but you literally need um, to procreate to survive. Like that's like it's crazy that we just don't value that in our society at all.
But talking about social reproduction and thesis 5, what do you guys think about Amy Coney Barrett, the new Supreme Justice?
Well, I think on the surface level, more women in our government is, I think, more of a positive thing. But once you delve a little bit deeper into it, I mean, if you're aware of anything, that she stands for and things, I just find it really difficult that it's 2020 and we're still struggling to have control over our own bodies and that we still have to fight over if we want to have a baby or not. And it's just mind blowing because, our world is progressing every single day. We're, coming up with new medicine and new science and all this stuff every single day, but we're still so stuck on that small thing that women cannot, for some reason, decide for themselves what they want.
Yeah.
It's kind of ironic though too, because obviously we do want more women in this position in the government and so on, but like it's a struggle, like seeing how we have to fight for our rights, even though we do have someone that is a female in that position, you know?
It makes it almost more sad, honestly.
Yeah, it does.
It's like, are we moving forward or backward with every like it's like the like for every one step we take forward, it's almost like we're taking two back.
Yep.
But
No, I completely agree with that. Overall, I feel like we, at least our group and all of our conversations, have a pretty good understanding of, what this book was supposed to get across to us. And I just hope that everybody else in the class felt the exact same way.
Yeah. Thank you guys for listening to us.
Thank you.
bye.
Bye.